Welcome into another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. A lot of stuff is going on in the comic book movie world, and especially going on in DC. So I had to get my buddy Gerald Tracy to come and, talk about everything that's going on so far in the DCU. Gerald, man, how's it going, man?
It's going good. I'm doing better than what DC's probably doing, but I do have faith because of who's at the helm.
Yeah, and that person at the helm is James Gunn. We know James Gunn from his work with making the Guardians a big thing. He's worked with DC, had the Suicide Squad, that movie, which was generally well received as a soft reboot of the Suicide Squad. Let's just get right into it. So last night, an article from The Hollywood Reporter dropped saying that there's going to be some stuff going around in DC. So what we took from it is we don't know if Henry Cavill is going to be Superman. There probably will not be a Wonder Woman 3, which led to people thinking that there might be a recast. We know Blue Beetle's still going to come out. We know the Batman isn't going. Well, this is all allegedly, before they start saying, hey, these guys are spreading misinformation. So allegedly, The Batman is safe. Aquaman, James Momoa? I don't even know how to pronounce his last name.
Jason Momoa, yeah.
But Jason Momoa said they said that there's talks about him actually not being Aquaman anymore and playing Lobo. So Aquaman 2 we're going to chop that up to they're going to move on from that as well. A lot of the tentpole of the Justice League is definitely changing. Again, like we said, Batman's still going to be Batman's going to be okay. The Flashpoint is coming out next year. So we're expecting a lot of changes there. But even with everything going on with Ezra Miller, there have been reports saying that the higher ups in Warner Brothers don't think that they want to continue Ezra Miller as the Flash. Reading that article and seeing all these changes, Gerald, where do you think DC is trying to go?
Well, I'm trying to pull it up, James Gunn's exact words, because he did go on a little bit of a Twitter, not a rant, I don't want to call it a rant, because I don't think it's really classifies as one, but he did go on a Twitter stuff earlier, kind of talking about these reports and everything, and he's just talking about how James Gunn hopes that they're trying to give every character the attention they deserve to give these stories, and he does know that he's not going to make fans happy along the way. I'm thinking that's kind of a hint towards the Henry Cavill like as Superman, but the Henry Cavill one is one of those things that you mentioned that I'm having a hard time believing, just because Cavill did give up the Witcher role, a role that he was very vocal about how much he loved. He loved the games. He's a big fan of the character and wanted to do it justice. Now, there were other rumors that the writing room from The Witcher, the Netflix series The Witcher, wasn't exactly wanting to do stuff that the character, quote unquote, would have, according to some fans, and Cavill was upset about that. So, but I don't see Cavill not coming back as Superman, at least for one more go around. For the Flash, I don't know what they're doing with that. Ezra Miller probably should be recasted after all the stuff that happened with him over the past year. The Batman, whether you're talking about Robert Pattinson, that one needs to keep going on. The question is, are they going to maybe expand into that universe, and that is the main universe that we start to get from the DC? Or are they going to expand the Joker universe with Joaquin Phoenix? There's just so many questions going on, but one thing Gunn did say in his Twitter thread was that they're trying to make sure the animated, the movies, and the video games and everything is going to make the fans happy. And that makes me wonder if that's what they're trying to do with this. If they're trying to make one big universe that goes across to where viewers can watch it on the big screen, watch it on their phones, and play it on their gaming systems at home. So I'm wondering if maybe that's where he's going. But again, I said I have full faith in James Gunn. I do. And that's because something that Ahmed said in our Guardians episode, that James Gunn has always been able to tell a great big story with a lot of action that also has a lot of funny stuff and great character-driven emotion in it. You saw it in the Guardians. Every Guardian has great character-driven, emotion-driven arcs in those movies. And we saw it in Peacemaker. He got John Cena to be one hell of an emotional actor in that one, and in Suicide Squad. So again, sorry for my long rant now, but I think that what Gunn is going to come up with, I think we can all trust. And if this is what he's doing, by far, I mean, it's fine. You know, were Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, and even Ben Affleck great cast for those characters? Yes. But I do think they can do better with the stories, and maybe they'll find ways to bring them back. Maybe Gal Gadot stays as Wonder Woman as a different version of her. I saw rumors that Jason Momoa might be coming back as Lobo, which I, for one, am all for because he looks exactly like him in the comics. And you could recast Aquaman. Aquaman is not even one you theoretically necessarily need. I mean, really, when you think Justice League, the three cornerstones you're going to want if you're going to do Justice League is going to be Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, right? You can get away without having Aquaman there. But the other three are kind of like it's imagine doing the Avengers without having Captain America, Iron Man, and like the Hulk, right? Or Thor. We'll say Thor in this case. You can get away without Hawkeye or Black Widow. But you probably need those core three to have some of those core stories in the future, right?
Yeah, and even touching on what you said about you don't need Aquaman. Honestly, you can bring in Aquaman sometime later and then this time have the Green Lantern in the Justice League if that's something that they want to do. But a lot of it, too, I think, has to stem with they're definitely trying to move away from what Zack Snyder had built, because if you think about it, like if they continue to put these movies out, especially with these actors and actresses playing these roles, all you're going to hear from online trolls, bots, and everybody is just, Zack Snyder, the Snyder Cut, and all these are all what happened to Zack Snyder's story. So, I mean, it's understandable why they're doing this. I guess as fans, it's just like DC has been in this constant like hamster wheel. They're starting, stopping, things have been happening, things have been canceled, things have been put on hold. So it's just like, as fans who enjoy these characters, and we've all said it, like the characters that they have are more ingrained into the culture of comic book fandom than some Marvel characters. So you have Superman, you have Batman, you have Wonder Woman. That's a holy trilogy right there, and that three can go up against any three from a Marvel side, but for some reason they just haven't been able to have a comprehensive plan. And I think like you have to, this is a move that has to be made. And again, this is all speculation, and like you said, touching on what James Gunn tweeted out today, he said some of it's true, some of it's not true, but we'll just have to see what comes out. In that Hollywood Reporter article, they said that they're meeting with the head honcho at Warner Brothers next week. So there should be more of an idea of where the DCU is trying to go. And before we got on, I was thinking about it. I think if there was anything that they can start off from, you touched on it, Gerald, is the Batman universe. If they're not going to touch it, then just talk to Matt Reeves and be like, hey, like, this is going to be this is going to be where we start. This is how we're going to mold it out. Or even Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle doesn't have to be a part of the Justice League, but you can start fleshing out or start laying the groundwork in that movie. So it's just a matter of picking and choosing. But again, if you want to make it easier on yourself and easier on the fans, people have already said that they like the Batman. They've enjoyed it. I mean, I've only watched it one time since it came out. It's taken me a minute to say, let me turn on HBO Max and rewatch this movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's just like I gotta
3 hours long.
Yeah, I gotta prepare myself.
Gotta take a block out of your day.
Yeah, it's like you got something there. So if you want to start right there, Batman's already one founding member of the Justice League. There you go. You could start in that universe. What do you think should be the way that they go? If they were to say, if Warner Brothers were to give you an email and say, hey, Gerald, as a fan of comic book movies, we want you to be a fan of DC, where do you think we should start?
First, I'd be losing my shit. But But no, I mean, the great thing about comics and comic book movies specifically is that there are so many ways you can just cut something off and restart from whole. Comics have literally been doing it forever. The Ultimate Universe, for Marvel, for instance, that comic storyline was opened up, and because they were getting tired of Earth 616, they wanted to explore another universe, and they did. So this isn't Lord of the Rings. It's not Harry Potter. It's not, one of those kind of franchises. It's not even like the Die Hard franchise, where if you just remade them, you'd have to recast and go through similar story or find different twists and everything. You can legit just jump off to a whole other universe and just say, it's a new one, we're restarting. And that's what they need to do. And that's what I think James Gunn and them are doing right now. They're looking at the current slate of movies that they have already produced, that they have already spent money on. And they're going to release them the way they were going to. But I imagine, and if I were doing them, I would find a way to work in ending of that universe. They have never outright said this is the main universe. This is just the main one right now. Kill it off. You can keep some of the actors and actresses. It's very easy to explain that, Batman looks the same in every universe, or Superman looks the same, or Wonder Woman looks the same, but this happened with him in this one. So Aquaman, instead of being Jason Momoa, he's, I don't know, Brad Pitt. That's not who we want. But, I would go that route and then try to have some of these early movies come out and see which ones work and which ones you may be able to fit into it. Maybe you can fit a Blue Beetle in there. Because with Blue Beetle, the Blue Beetle idea was to start a Young Justice in live action. Have Wally West, have some of the younger superheroes come in and start doing Young Justice stuff. Problem with that is I don't think you can do that as a starting universe thing. Because getting adult fans like us, our age specifically, that 28 to 40 age group, interested in young kid dramas, is hard, right? Yeah. Like it's not going to sell. So I think that's something they're going to have to do down the future. Right now, restart it, wrap it up. Start with a Green Lantern, a Wonder Woman, a Flash is a good one to do to end this one and introduce you to a new one. So there's so much things they can do, but like I said before, I think I have full faith in Gunn, because Gunn really is a fan, and DC has, as you mentioned, some of the deeper characters and better stories out there. The animated universe DC has is some of the best content anybody's ever, like any comic stuff can hit when it comes to television or movies. So I think he's looking at that too, and he may be able to take a page out of that book and maybe find a way to make that live action too.
Yeah, and like you said, we have all the faith in James Gunn, but let's not front. He definitely has some pressure on him, because when they gave him the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, that was a ragtag group. Honestly, he was playing with house money with them, and he turned it into gold. But here, I know a lot of fans will be like, I don't know if you can start building a universe with like a ragtag bunch of superheroes or anti-heroes. Here it's like, if you want to, like we said, like, do you start with the Batman? Maybe you start with Green Lantern. We haven't seen Green Lantern since Ryan Reynolds, and that was almost, what was that, 2011? Over 10 years ago. So maybe they say we build a world through the Green Lantern and the Green Lantern Corps. It's just, he definitely has his work cut out for him. But like we keep stressing, like, we believe that he and his team can do it. Off the top of your head, is there any actor or actress that you think, if roles are recast, that would be perfect for any of the open slots, whether it's Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and again, the Flash, maybe?
I don't even know. And then I'm starting to think too, like, one of the things Gunn has to play devil's advocate, because we've both been real excited about Gunn, but even like, because the Green Lantern would be a great one to start with. I think the Green Lantern's a core one. The problem is you're trying to world build, and you're already building out a universe before you build the world. You know? So, like,
that's a bar.
To me, like, you almost have to, because what DC has tried to do for so long is, like, do the opposite of what Marvel does, right? Instead of solo, it's solo movie and then team up, solo movie. They need to do the solos. They need to do the small world building stuff, showing the vigilantes turning into heroes and then superheroes. I don't know where you start with that. You start with Superman and you bring in the superheroes immediately. And then you're also bringing us a movie we got a decade ago. You bring us Batman. We've already seen like 30 Batman movies. The Flash, we literally just got it. Wonder Woman, we have had 2 and you canceled the 3rd one. Like, where do you start with this? And I don't know. I just don't have an answer for that. There's plenty of actors and actresses too, but then the problem is you're doing this at the same time that the MCU's doing it, so you're taking away a big pool. Speaking of pool, Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds. I mean, it depends on what kind of mood you want to go with, but if you can bring in a guy like Ryan Reynolds, someone with the charisma, someone with the actual fan base, like The Rock has a lot of fan base, and I know you're not a fan of him, but I'm at least a little bit of a fan of The Rock. Like enough to like I will pay to go see his movies, if they look good enough. But like The Rock isn't that guy. He's not that guy. Ben Affleck, not that guy. You'd have to find someone like a Ryan Reynolds who has that charisma and that pool and that clout. And you'd have to either steal him from MCU and or just like hope that he's been staying away for long enough that you've grabbed him. So it's an interesting question. I don't know. Who would you pick?
It is an interesting question. Honestly, I really like a lot of the DC animated stuff. Like I rewatched Injustice, rewatched Apocalypse, A War. I liked Justin Hartley as Superman, but I would make him maybe the Flash. I would make Justin Hartley probably the Flash. I enjoyed Rosario Dawson as Wonder Woman. So I don't know, maybe if they really want to keep the connectivity and make sure, like, okay, what you're going to get in the animated, you're also going to get in live action, so there's no drop-off, so there's no question of, like, how when we were watching What If, it's just like, who's voicing these characters? Like, I'm used to Chris Evans voicing Captain America, but then when it wasn't him in What If, it was like, oh, wait, I have to get used to this. It's a different actor. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Rosario Dawson as Wonder Woman, Justin Hartley as The Flash, not Superman. I really didn't think too much of Superman because it's just Superman to a character to me. I think maybe that guy, I forgot not Wentworth Miller, but the guy from what is that show? It's like 14 seasons. It was always on like TNT. It was like 2 like vampires. I forgot what his name is. The show is like once we get off, I'm gonna remember the show. But our viewers on YouTube, man, if you're in the comments, you'll help us out. We'll even pose that question to you. Who do you guys think would be perfect recast for the characters in DC? But I said, like I would go Justin Hartley as the Flash, Rosario Dawson as Wonder Woman. Green Lantern, it just depends on, are we doing Jon Stewart? If Jon Stewart, honestly, I'll ask Michael B. Jordan and be like, hey, you want to be Green Lantern? Because his name has been, where there's smoke is fire with him. There's been talk about him producing the Superman films before all this DC shakeup. There was talks about him being Superman. I'd ask him, hey, you want to do Green Lantern? If not him, probably John Boyega. As a Green Lantern, those off the top of my head right now.
Justin Hartley back. Sorry.
Yeah.
If you're bringing Hartley back, though, do you not want him to play the Arrow? He was the Arrow first in
Smallville.
Smallville. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, Justin Hartley, he was the Arrow in Smallville, right? And I think he made an appearance in the Arrowverse show on CW. But then the problem with that is, like, if you start off with a character like that, you have to be able to say that this actor I'm bringing in can anchor a movie. And that's part of why you don't see guys like Grant Gustin coming from the CW verse to the movie Flash, because he's not the kind of actor that can anchor a movie. He can anchor a TV show on the CW, sure. Mm-hmm. But because that's where the talent drop-off is. Can Hartley Hartley's really grown as an actor because he's in This Is Us now, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, he was in This Is Us.
Sorry. But like, can they carry it going in? I really like some of those Green Lantern. I love the John Boyega one. There's a lot, and heck, I mean, you might be able to get like oh my gosh, why do I want to say childish Gambino? Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, yeah.
Because they're two different people, right? Yeah, but you probably could still Donald Glover away. Donald Glover for a long time wanted to play Spider-Man. And then he's the reason, he was an inspiration for Miles Morales, so.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talent to choose from, and just to piggyback off your point, when it comes to carrying a movie, they can honestly do what the MCU did, and I mean, I know it's because of rights issues, but the Hulk has become such a major figure that everybody's clamoring for another Hulk movie. But that first one, people didn't like, but now, like, after seeing him in so many movies and so many TV shows and properties, people want to see a Hulk movie. Mm-hmm. People want to see other movies. It depends on the product. If the product is good, people will come and see it. Any last comments, reactions to the DC shakeup? Do you think, I guess I'll leave you with this, and even to our viewers on YouTube, do you think this could possibly work, Gerald?
Yeah, I think it could. It makes me excited. I want to rewatch all the DC animated universe now, because that is some top tier stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So it makes me excited. Hopefully we'll be getting that live action. But hopefully this doesn't mean the movies that we are going to get from this almost dead universe aren't bad. And we should still support them, because I think they're going to be... I mean, I know you haven't seen it and you don't want to, but like Black Adam was still fun enough to at least see in theaters. I'm hoping that the other ones at least meet that bar, if not beat it.
I like we said in our group text, I'm gonna watch Black Adam when it comes out on HBO Max. That's when I'm gonna watch it. But man, Gerald, thank you again, man, hopping on this. We thank you, the viewers, that you can catch us on all our social media channels. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Watch us YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Get the notifications for when we drop new episodes. For Gerald, I'm Eric, and it's Box Office Quarterbacks. We will see you very, very soon with more content.